Yo! I just realized the music's so loud. Oops. There we go, hopefully. I am back again, y'all. And I'm clean shaven. I kind of like the hoodie on too, though. It's a bit chilly tonight. It's not like cold, but it's cold enough. Chilly enough. Sorry, I'm just Angel's just right in with the Alexis is a horrible parent. I do not disagree. Sorry, I can't see the bottom of my screen. And I forgot to put my notes up. There we go. There we go. Hey. Hello, y'all. Man. I hope you guys are doing well. Sorry that I didn't live stream yesterday. Hey, Sandy. But yes, this music festival put my phone and my laptop through the ringer in terms of the amount of space that I have had to put on both, or take up on both because of the festival. But the videos turned out amazing. But I still have so much more of the project to do. But it's not going to affect the live streams anymore because now I'm on my own time. Now I can do the rest on my own time. But yeah, hope you guys have been doing well. GH has been interesting. I mean, it's not like exciting, but there's things happening, and a lot of it is kind of surrounding Kristina. Jocelyn's in her first mission now too. We've seen a little bit of stuff with Marco and Natalia and Jin, and we've seen some interesting confrontations between Drew and just anyone that hates him lately. Particularly Carly and Willow's confrontation is one thing in my notes that I'll talk about. But it's not gonna be like a full-on like recap because you guys know what happened. You know, I mean, you guys know every week what happened, but it's always a little bit weird to go into like 1 week that's already happened, but also like a couple days worth of episodes in a week. So it'll be more like hang out and give my thoughts on kind of like the major story beats that have happened. Sandy says Alexis is as delusional as her daughter. Yeah, I don't disagree. We'll kick things off with that. That's what the thumbnail is. And honestly, that's the first thing in my notes too. So just to summarize a little bit, Ava found footage of Kristina grabbing some wire cutters and going towards Rick's car in the garage. And she uses that footage to blackmail Alexis because she, Ava's desperate for money and she wants to use that as, a way to get it from Alexis so that Alexis can funnel out money from sort of the Cassadine funds that were originally her divorce funds, that the Cassadines kind of brought back to their compound. But yeah, it's it's initially it felt like Alexis went to Diane for advice rather, and Diane gave some good stuff. She said, get your daughter committed. Like, it's the only way she'll stay out of jail. She'll get the help that she needs to, stop basically focusing on Ava and trying to kill her. But yeah, it's been like, I thought for sure Alexis was going to do it. And then of course, Molly and Kristina are having, are becoming close. And I knew right then and there when they were having like a Davis girls night that it was like the end of Alexis thinking about committing her. She put the papers away. She went to Diane in today's episode and said she's not going to do it because it'll, ruin Molly and Molly and Kristina's relationship forever, basically, if Molly finds out what Kristina did to her father. And it'll take Kristina away from her family. It'll tear them apart. Kristina will never forgive Alexis. Molly will never forgive Kristina. It's a whole mess. It's a whole mess. But if you guys remember the last time I live streamed, I totally called Ava blackmailing Alexis. I was like, I hope she does, and she did. My hope was that Alexis wouldn't necessarily take the offer, but she did. She did. She done did it, and I'm mad about it. It's like Kristina is gonna be, crazy forever, it seems, because no one is gonna hold her accountable for anything she's done. No one faults her for going to Ava's apartment the night that she fell out the window, and they should. And I mean, some of them do, but just in silence. Like Alexis. Alexis knows that it falls on Kristina and that Kristina can't handle it. It's just nuts. It's nuts. Oh, Lordy. But at least Ava will have her funds again, I guess, and live her lavish lifestyle. It's just tiresome, like it's just forever the story of, Kristina creating these big messes and her parents always coming to the rescue and just, letting her live her life in her delusions. It's nuts. It is nuts. And even Diane was like, girl, what are you doing? Like this is not the way, but this is the way that she insisted. And so Diane already knows it's going to go to hell in a handbasket eventually. So she's just like, when it goes south, I will do my best to help you. But that's it. I'm sure both Alexis and Kristina will end up in jail. So, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I'm not happy. Pay the 2 mortgages. Yeah, she will. She will. Save her art gallery that we've only ever seen one room of. But yeah, it is frustrating. I love that today Molly brought Rick a coffee, but then when he realized it was from Kristina, he's just like, on second thought, you can have that. Yeah, pay the mortgages on the 2 buildings. Yeah, she'll do that pretty quickly probably, and then, after that, we'll see. But yeah, how are you guys feeling on the Kristina front? Like, are you as annoyed as I am? I feel like, well, I know Angel and Sandy, you guys are. But yeah, how do the rest of y'all feel? If you're here after the live stream, let me know in the comments too. And yeah, sorry that it's a Tuesday. I just realized like it's a weird day for me to stream. I never stream on Tuesdays. I don't think I ever have. Even like for a postponing thing. But I figured today is the best day. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think Kristina will snap again at Ava. Ava said to put Kristina on a leash, otherwise the payment will triple because she's already doubled it. Just for compensation for Rick as well. But yeah, I just need Kristina to be put in her place because she won't stop. She even pretty much admitted to Dante that like she can't let go of certain angers or that people are incapable of letting go of certain things. And it's like, no, Kristina, that's just you, girl. People can forgive and move on and find their peace. You're just choosing not to. Plain and simple. Oh, man. But yeah, the next thing I kind of want to talk about today is Jocelyn's mission. So she had passed her big training session, which essentially was just ratting out whatever that guy's name. I forget his name already. The other WSB guy as a test. And now her first mission is back in Port Charles. It's to get close to Professor Dalton, who's being played by Daniel Goddard, whose work I'm not familiar with, but if you guys are in the comments, let me know what you think of him. We've only really seen a glimpse of him today. But Jocelyn's mission is putting her in competition with Emma, who is in the same sort of physics class that she is. And I think it's Jocelyn's mission, if I'm understanding correctly, to become his sort of lab research partner. And Emma is a smart student who's pretty much got that in the bag. But yeah, we don't really know why Jocelyn has to do this. The WSB isn't telling her why she has to do it. She just has to do it, has to have it done. And I don't know. I mean, some people are theorizing that it might have to do with Emma's sort of secret thing that she got arrested for, which Anna and Emma discussed as well a few days ago. Basically, Anna found out from the WSB. They pulled her files for her. And essentially, she was breaking and entering and trying to set animals free. So Emma is just like a really big animal activist who doesn't like animals being treated unfairly, which honestly valid. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Sandy, you said you're not really into the story. Yeah, it's like, for me, I have a hard time buying Jocelyn as a WSB agent. Like, just because of how, she was basically doing her own mission, right? And going after Cyrus. And look how that ended. She couldn't find any clues herself. Jack had to feed her some clues. And then it led her to, his cabin. And she ended up murdering the guy instead of, like, getting him arrested. Which is, like, insane. Angel, you said, I love Daniel on YNR as Kane. I'm glad he has work. I couldn't see him playing the recast Brennan. Was he supposed to be? Was he supposed to actually be the recast Brennan? And ended up being Dalton instead? Interesting. Sandy, you said, I'm not buying it either. Yeah, I just really, like, I don't see her as a WSB agent. I see Emma as one. And, like, that story would essentially write herself. She's already been on missions with Adam in the past. And she wants to essentially be, like, a kind of superhero in the way that she saw her grandmother as. But it's like, I don't know, having Jocelyn... I mean, maybe Jocelyn and Emma as WSB agents that are competing against each other would be interesting. But instead, Jocelyn's just kind of being a WSB agent and being kind of in Emma's proximity as a result. But I would have rather much seen this WSB story for Emma instead. Angel, you said, every time I see Joss do spy stuff, I see Totally Spies. Oh, man. I mean, she hasn't really done a whole lot of spy stuff yet, though, has she? She's just, like, kind of reestablishing her relationships in Port Charles and having to do this mission quietly. But I do think that Emma will be the first to figure out that Jocelyn is in the WSB. And then probably by proximity, Anna will as well. And they'll probably drag out Carly finding out forever like they do with everything else. But yeah, that's all I really had to say on that kind of story there. It might be a shorter live stream, you guys, to be honest, because I'm kind of just getting to like the big story beats that happen, and there's not too much little stuff that's kind of gone on in between, and the story is kind of moving slowly. But one thing that we did get to see was kind of a more just more context on Natalia's relationship with Marco. It's the exact same as it was with Blaze. You know, she gave Marco a hard time for being gay, and you know, it was the same with Blaze. And Daniel, sorry, I seen the word Daniel there. Marco and Natalia have not worked through that because Marco doesn't live in Port Charles. He hasn't been in her proximity in a long time, so you know, that's something that they had to work on. They had dinner at the Metro Court, or drinks at the Metro Court, which didn't last very long. Sunny and Kristina and Dante happened to be there because Kristina and Sunny were telling Dante about Sunny's heart condition. But Sunny noticed Jin Sidwell and Natalia talking, and it seemed very clear to Sunny that their relationship is not exactly what she's been saying, which, you know, essentially she's acted like a total stranger to him beyond what's been going on at Deception. And eventually Sunny confronts her on it, and she actually fesses up to him, which initially Jin Sidwell had told her, like, if you tell Sunny the truth now, you'll lose your relationship with him. And she does. I think it was very respectful, and I think Natalia totally understood that Sunny's trust has been betrayed in that way, and just kind of accepted it. I've always found like Sunny and Natalia interesting, not storyline wise, but interesting in the sense that like it just, in all accords at the beginning, it felt like they were going to try to put Sunny and Natalia together, and they just never did. And it's not like they have bad chemistry. I think that they have good friendship chemistry, romantic chemistry. We never really got to see that. So, and from the looks of it, they're not going to go there. So it makes me wonder if Natalia's just going to be ushered off the screen eventually, because, you know, if she doesn't have a relationship with Sunny, then like maybe if they build upon her relationship with Marco, but they can only do as much as they did with it as they did with Blaze. And that didn't turn out well for her either. Natalia as a replacement Brenda. Yeah, many years too late. It's true. Brooklyn, you said, hi, Dion. Emma is 2.0 like her grandma. Yeah, like, she could easily be WSB. Emma's actually, you know, smart. Impulsive, but smart. So, I don't know. It's the story they should have done with Emma. But yeah. So, no more Natalia and Sunny friendship. Like, there's not much more to say about that, right? I'm curious if Marco is really a good guy, because he got hired by Diane and Alexis's law firm. Obviously Diane did not know that he was Jin Sidwell's son. Sunny knows, and I think tomorrow he's gonna let Diane know. And from the looks of it, maybe try to use it to their advantage in some way. But we'll see. I guess hopefully we see Marco's true colors when Sunny confronts him tomorrow, because I want to see if Marco is a good guy or not, because he could just have, you know, shitty parents, you know, and we can't fault him for that. It's not like Blaze is evil, but obviously Marco is a lawyer for Jen. So, Jens, whatever. But, yeah, I don't know. He's hard to read. He's really sweet with Lucas. I love their scenes. I can't wait for Brad to find out that they're kind of having a bit of a thing, just so he can move on. Well, he won't move on, let's be real. But just so he can be a little bit jealous and, you know, kind of maybe question his life choices about how he resorted to blackmail at his job to get his job, so to speak, and keep it. But yeah, I don't know. I do like that Portia has the upper hand on Brad, because like he was just an asshole the way he was like being like, let me get off early, let me do this and do that, and you'll do whatever I want because I know what you did to Heather. And like, it's so, I know it's not irrelevant, but in a way it is, because Heather is out of jail already. Her sort of shadiness didn't keep Heather in jail. So her plan didn't even work. But it is what it is. Sandy says Marco is super fine, nice eye candy. Yeah, he is gorgeous. The actor that plays Marco is gorgeous. I'm loving just looking at him. But also he's an intriguing character. He seems like a decent actor as well. I like knowing that him and I already forget the actor's name that plays Lucas. But the fact that those two actors have known each other for 20 years is nice because they already have an established chemistry just amongst themselves, and and it shows on screen as well. So yeah, I don't know, but I'll probably feel a little bit differently if he turns out to not be a good guy. But you know, lawyers, it's kind of like Diane in the sense that she is Sonny's lawyer. It does not make her a bad person. You know? She's just a lawyer doing lawyer things. And maybe Jen Sidwell is taking advantage of that. Or giving his son a job, essentially. But, you know, there is that possibility that that he really is just a lawyer doing his job. And doesn't really do anything shady for his father beyond maybe get him off from crimes. But if I'm mad at Marco for that, then I have to be mad at Diane for Sonny. And I guess in some ways I am, but I love Diane. It hasn't deterred me from her character. And that's a credit to Carolyn Hennessy, who just plays her brilliantly. And she's so good at comedy. And she's just, I love how over the top she is. It's like, I don't know, because we see so much of Carolyn in like real life as well. Like, her personality is the same as Diane's, so I don't know. It's just, she's a natural. I love her. Kaiwan, you said I want the actor that played Mark on the Gates. And the Spanish guy they got on the show was horrible as an actor. Oh, you want Marco? I mean, listen, half that cast is horrible. And that sucks because I really wanted to like, you know, the Beyond the Gates, but I just couldn't do it because the acting is so bad. And it sucks for the actors that are good on there. I mean, John Lindstrom's on there, and there were several cast members that are great, but there's also several cast members that are awful. So it's like, it's ruining the show. It ruined me wanting to keep watching it. So unless this show decides to do a slew of recasts, I just can't watch. I just can't do it. Hey, Laura. Laura, you said, just got thinking, why doesn't Sonny have Diane working on blocking the eminent domain? Do you mean like the possible like movement of the whatever project Curtis has going to Sonny's properties? I mean, Sonny is already prepared to do that if that's what you were referring to. Espionage? What? Not espionage. Espionage? What do they call that thing that they're trying to build? Oh man, I guess that was kind of my next to my notes anyway. We can get into it. So Jordan has an in with Jen Sidwell, and you know, basically he offered her a job, and she turned him down just to kind of avoid suspicion. But she figured out that the way to kind of get Laura to let her go is to butt heads with her on Sonny, which she technically does. She doesn't like that she has ties to Sonny. She gets it because of their personal relationship, but she doesn't like it. And listen, Jordan has also been talking to Laura. Like, she's being completely, what's the word for it? Completely transparent about what she's doing. She is trying to get close to Jen Sidwell, to be in his inner circle and find out what he's really up to. And Laura's down to help her out with that, even if it means throwing her political career under the bus, which it might. Her opponent that's working with Drew, whose name escapes me currently, he's an asshole. But so this guy, he's basically constantly bringing up Laura's relationship with Sonny, and kind of smearing her in that way. And Laura's basically going to address it, and I'm assuming that her and Jordan are going to have like a public confrontation, and it's going to result in her getting fired so that she jumps on board with Jen Sidwell and it doesn't look suspicious. So, clever Jordan doing undercover things. Like, just be a cop again, girl. Like, you clearly hated doing this sort of mayor deputy thing. It's just been like a convenient thing for Jeannie Francis because, despite being the mayor of Port Charles, she's gone 6 months of the year every year. So, I don't know. Like, listen, I love the character of Laura, and I think that Jeannie is definitely entitled to having as much vacation time as she wants. She's earned it. She helped save the show in the 80s. She put GH on the map, really, alongside Tony Geary. So I don't mind her vacations. But it does, like, being the mayor of Port Charles, it just truly seems ridiculous that every year there's some kind of excuse that gets her out of town for the longest period of time. Like, that alone should be addressed on the show and be like, she's never here anyway. She's never here. Get a different mayor. I don't want the new mayor to be like this other guy, but like put Ned back in there maybe. I don't know. But just it is ridiculous. Even as a Laura fan and a Jeannie Francis fan, to have the mayor of Port Charles just never be in town for half the year. Sorry, Kaiwan, I don't understand what you mean. Hey, Allison. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see what Jordan will find out being his lawyer. Or not lawyer. What was he hiring her for again? I mean, he's willing to pay her top dollar for whatever it is, but I don't know. We shall see. And we're still gearing up for the Nurses Ball, by the way, that Jen Sidwell is funding. We kind of have an idea of who's performing so far. Today we found out that, unsurprisingly, Gio is going to do that. And it's funny because, like, his character is always kind of playing classical violin music, playing, like, all the, like, Beethoven type stuff. But we do know that the actor is pretty notoriously, like, famous for doing very modern violin performances and doing modern songs that everybody knows in the form of, kind of epic violin performing and dancing and all that sort of all together. He very much reminds me of Lindsay Sterling. If you guys don't know who she is a violinist who kind of put violins on like more of a mainstream map, so to speak, in terms of like just what she's able to do with her performances. And I think likely he was probably inspired by her. And probably grew up watching her too. And she's amazing. I've seen her live. She is fantastic. I adore her. I had so much of her on my iPod back when I had one. I don't use my iPhone for like listening to music anymore. I'm just like on my laptop listening to music at home. We tried to go every summer. Oh, a different show. Yeah, I mean, Finola Hughes was doing that for a while too, and like it kind of slowed down. Like she doesn't seem to do it anymore, but there was a time where Finola was gone every summer, and now Jeannie is gone like several months out of the year. But again, Finola kind of falls under that sort of same umbrella as Jeannie and Tony for me. Like these are legends that kept the show going throughout the entirety of their glory years. It's people like her, Tristan Rogers, Emma Sams, Jeannie, Tony, like Jack and Kristina, Frisco and Felicia. Like they could all take long vacations if they were all on the show and they were gone for, so much time. It wouldn't bother me, as long as they are able to do it in ways that make sense for storylines. With Luke, back in the day, like it kind of, Luke was always kind of been written as someone that just needs to roam, and so he roams, and it's never been too jarring. And it really works in his favor when he was saying that he was going to stay, and then he would get like kidnapped or something. So I don't know, but needless to say, if the storylines make sense as to why they're leaving and for how long they're leaving, then I am okay with it. Aaron, you said, I love Lindsay Sterling. Yeah, me too. She's great. Oh, Laura, Laura, you said, talking about Laura vacationing half the year, she sounds like she should be in Congress. I mean, why not, Got a president who golfs every couple of days. Congress just seems to do whatever they want. They can do insider trading and get away with it. What a mess over there, y'all. Sandy, you said, who is going to get blown up, shot, or stabbed during the Nurses Ball? Hopefully no one. Listen, like, for me, and I know Nurses Ball is like very much a take it or leave it thing with the audience. I like it because it at least in the 90s it was a break from the drama. There wasn't too much drama at the Nurses Ball unless it was like sort of fluffy drama, like Lucy being in her underwear or like reveals happening. But like it doesn't need to be a place where people get blown up or shot or stabbed. For sure. Like, it really put a bad taste in my mouth when Brooklyn got her neck sliced in half by Nell back then. Just like that kind of crazy. I don't need that at the Nurses Ball. I am down with it just being however many days of lighthearted performances from the cast and just seeing their sort of talents for a little bit. Just a fun thing. I don't mind it being just a fun thing. We get drama all the time. It's always pretty miserable when it's all drama all the time for me. I like a balance of like the happy with the crazy. But we've had so much crazy and drama and sadness and anger and just a whole lot of misery. So I don't mind getting away from that a bit. But we're going to talk about them next. Don't worry, Kaiwan. They're next on my list. But yeah, the Carly thing is up on my list next. Don't you worry. But just to finish off my sort of spiel about the Nurses Ball. One thing I'm kind of thinking about in my head is like, who do I want to perform? And I'm thinking we've got Jonathan Jackson back. This is his first time being on screen since the sort of revitalized Nurses Ball that came back in 2013. So I would love to see him perform. I hope Lucy talks him into it, since Elizabeth can't and wouldn't anyway, even if she could. We need to see Lucky up there. We need to see him. Arguably, he is the only musician that actually is a musician on the side. Still, apart from Gio, who's a violinist. But I mean, like, singing-wise. Whereas, like, I feel like, I know there's Wally as well. It feels like, I don't know. For me, it feels like Wally's always kind of done it as a hobby that he's kind of good at. But he's never, like, had a band that, like, has tried to make it as musicians. He's never had other acting gigs that involved him singing. So, I don't know. Jonathan, it would just be a disservice to not have him perform something somewhere at some point. And what better time than the Nurses' Ball? I am looking forward to seeing what Kai does. You know, is he gonna strip and dance or whatever? What's he gonna do? I think Lucas got talked into it as well. I hope Marco gets talked into it. I'd love to see them perform. I mean, Jens is his father. He can get a spot in the show, I think. And he's really handsome, and that will work for Lucy, because she just tries to get all the handsome men to be a part of the Nurses' Ball in some way. I don't need to see Chase perform I don't need to see Chase singing again, but it seems like we're going to. Who's Kate Gibson? I don't know who Kate Gibson is. Steve and Bradford are in a group together. They should bring it on the show. I mean, Steve is never... Like, Jason is never going to be on stage performing. So that's already out of my head. You know? Like, it wouldn't make sense for Jason to go on stage and perform something. He's just one of those characters I've accepted we'll never see on stage. And I'm okay with that. Bradford, however, I would love to see on stage again. I wouldn't mind seeing him and Kirsten Storms do something, to be honest. Will she? I don't know. But I would love to see it. Because we've seen Spinelli perform at the Nurses' Ball with Ellie. And by himself as well. And we've seen Maxie perform at the Nurses' Ball with Ellie as well. But we've not seen Maxie and Spinelli. They should do a duet of some sort. Even if they just utilize Bradford's dancing skills, because we know he's a good dancer as well. Oh, Kate Manzi? She's a singer? No, I don't want to see them perform together. I want him to be a solo act. Maybe bring his actual band on. I don't know if they're still together, but A Nation's music I actually had on my iPod for a while too. They were a great band. Just like really good stuff. Really good stuff. But I feel like if he's not with a band, then we know Jonathan Jackson's really good at acoustic performances as well. But I don't need Kristina being on stage right now. She's batshit crazy and doesn't deserve to be there. Bradford has a nice voice. He really does have a nice voice. And fun tidbit, if you guys didn't know, back when they did the karaoke thing last year, I think it was last year, when it was him, Maxie, I'm blanking, Cody, and wow, I'm so tired, y'all. I've forgotten Sophia Matson's character name. Sheesh. Michael's baby mama. But anyway, Bradford Anderson sang live, whereas everyone else lip synced to their own pre-recorded track. Fun tidbit. I think Bradford mentioned that on his and Steve's podcast. But yeah, Bradford has an amazing voice, and I remember he recorded My Funny Valentine for like a soap CD once, and it was gorgeous. He's got such like a classically trained voice, which is funny considering like his first karaoke story was essentially him being not a good singer at all and having to use a fake microphone, but it was his love for Maxie that made him get a beautiful voice. That 2009 karaoke thing was a blast, though. And none of the people that were doing karaoke were auto-tuned. They were all singing live. Some of them were awful, but that's what made it fun, because like karaoke should not sound like pitch perfect in most scenarios, unless you're at a karaoke bar in Montreal or in a gay bar. Like that's when they're trying, you know. That's when the ones that are going up there are actual karaoke singers and trying to just show off. So yeah, no. But most of the times it's just like people just getting drunk and getting bold enough to do karaoke. Hey Nathan, just chit-chatting about GH. Oh, before we move on to the Carly and Drew and Willow stuff, the one more point I had to make on Sunny and Natalia's part. Sunny figured out that Jens was Natalia's ex, and that Marco is Natalia's son with Jens. And earlier in the week, Jens had warned her that if he, if she tells Sunny the truth, he's going to cut ties with her. And Sunny found out anyway. He saw their interaction at the Metro Court because he was there with Dante and Kristina when Natalia was meeting up with Marco. And he confronts her later at his office. And she fesses up to the whole thing. She's just honest with him. She's like, yes, it's true. I'm not going to deny it. He's my ex. He's my kid's father. So he cut ties with her. Ended the friendship. Maybe I already brought that up because I know that we were kind of starting to talk about it. And then I think I got distracted. But yeah. I don't see the point in Natalia kind of sticking around, because they can only do so much to sort of fix her relationship with her son. And it's the same exact story that she had with her daughter. And yeah, she has grown in terms of being more open-minded towards her old and outdated beliefs. So it's just like Marco would have to see it for himself. And then what? Like they're not going to have her interact with anyone else. Like, maybe they can put her with Professor Dalton. I don't know. But there's just nothing really to her character that makes me want to keep her. Beyond the fact that the actress is a good actress. You know? Why she doesn't talk to her son. I mean, well, the thing is, like, her son doesn't live in town. Like, I think that likely what happened is she was overbearing back when she was trying to make him a singer, and he kind of stated as such during the conversation. But, they just never healed from that. He went off to become a lawyer, and then eventually probably started working for his dad. But, like, he just got out of there because she was a homophobe, and rightfully so. And he's obviously paid attention to what happened with Blaze and their mom, and saw that it was very much the same thing there. And he points out that their relationship is not healed. I don't think he knows. I mean, maybe he knows the details. She's kind of responsible for putting it into Kristina's head to break up with Blaze. And so she sort of resented her for that. But Kristina was going to do it anyway, because she just wanted to be crazy and not be called out for it. But here we are, a couple years later, and Kristina's still being crazy and still not being held accountable for it. So really... Anyway, let's move on to the last point. We're going to talk about Carly confronting Drew and Willow last week. It was fun to watch. Carly laying it on to Willow that hard was fun. It's not like we haven't gotten to see that since Carly and Nina were at this sort of peak of their rivalry, hatred for each other. So it was nice to see that again. I think it was the best idea for Carly to go in guns blazing against Drew and Nina, not Drew and Nina, Drew and Willow. I don't think so. Jack Brennan seems to think so. He's the one that encouraged her to do it. Girl almost slapped Willow. And Nina thankfully had called or texted Jason to get over here and rein Carly in. And so he got to her just before she smacked her. And then Carly did like the low blow and compared her to Nell. Let's be real, she knew Willow would hate that because she knows that Willow hated Nell, rightfully so. Now, I kind of don't like that Carly's like, well, this is all Willow now. And it's like, well, no. Drew groomed her into the person that we're seeing her today. He groomed her to just be a yes, sir kind of girl. I'll do what you want, sir. You're thinking my thoughts for me. You know? And it's not like we know that she's not been there before. She was in a cult. I just thought that she learned, but sometimes people don't. You know? Some people can't see when they're being manipulated, and the entire town can see that she is being manipulated by this guy. Cameron Matheson can see that Drew is a shitty guy. He said it in an interview. So Albert, if you're sneaking in here, Drew is not a good man. Cameron Matheson confirmed it. And if you're not in here and you're seeing this later, let me know in the comments your thoughts on Cameron saying that. But yeah, it's either way, it has led Willow to basically signing over emergency guardianship if anything happens to him, if anything happens to Willow. Drew will be the kids' guardians instead of Michael. And if something happens to Drew, then Willow is the guardian of Scout. And I don't like that either way, because realistically, like, Dante should be, or like Alexis. Like, I know that Scout likes Willow, but that's not her family. She has family that is there for her and love her. Like Alexis, like Dante, like even Jason, you know? Like, I mean, not that, like, it wouldn't be a good idea for Jason to get emergency custody. Even if Jason and Drew were on good terms, okay? But like Dante and Alexis, yeah. He's a good man, Savannah. Angel, you said that smack could have knocked some sense into Willow. Listen, if Drew is doing so many garbage things so openly, and none of that is ringing any alarm bells in her head, she is too far gone to be smacked into, the truth. Until something affects her personally that he does in a way that ruins her life, she isn't gonna care. It's a very, it's a trait that we're seeing all over the States currently. The FAFO movement over there. The F around and find out that people are doing over there. Sorry, bringing politics into it. Bad me, but like, we all see it. Everybody losing their retirement funds now. And their businesses. Mystic Mars, you said Willow never sat down with Dr. Collins to deal with being in a cult. That's true. And she never dealt with dealing with the loss of her baby either. And this is something that I said way back then as well. Willow did not go to therapy for losing her child in the way that she did. And instead she latched on to Wiley and sort of made him the crutch to help her get over her actual kid's death. Because she always thought Wiley was her kid. Turned out it wasn't. And then basically Michael was like, here, he can still be your son, really. You can adopt him. And, you know, she never dealt with that. She's not dealt with any of the trauma that she has faced. So, you know, to that end, Willow did kind of say after Carly had left that she's scared that she could be more like Nell than she thought. Nina kind of reassured her, like, she's not. And it's funny because, like, you could tell Nina's uncomfortable because she always, obviously, has a soft spot for her daughter. She knows she was flawed, but she hates hearing it from other people. But yeah, like, you know, really Nell was the way that she was because she didn't deal with the trauma that she experienced when she was young, having a god-awful father who basically fed her lies for her entire upbringing, put her on this path to revenge against Carly. And, you know, because she didn't get help for any of that, she went batshit crazy and became a psychopath. You know? I'm not saying that would happen to everyone, but it's already happening to Kristina, and this girl is in therapy. It's just not working for her. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Will has got some trauma to work out. Like, I don't know. And to me, even despite her being oblivious to Drew being a garbage person, when the entire town can see it, when the actor who plays him can see it, when the majority of the audience can see it, everyone but Kaiwan and Albert at this point, like it just, I think that she is still capable of getting the help she needs and like opening her eyes and just kind of like seeing for herself. I think that she would also, I don't know. She needs to see him when he's not around her. She needs to see footage of what he does. Because, I don't know, like, she's aware of how he kind of went after the Quartermains and the Quartermain Crypt and all this stuff. But she's not seen how he's acted. I don't think she watched the live stream. SLJ said, Willow did deal with the loss of her child in a way. She was in that group for grieving parents. Oh, that's true. She tried to. She did try. But she just moved on to Wiley so quickly, I felt. But, you know, like, it felt like they weren't in that grieving parents group for very long. And really, wasn't she in there when she just had given up the baby for adoption? I don't know. Like, really, I mean, wait, no, I'm like trying to remember the story in my head. She was grieving because, you know, Nell convinced them that Wiley was dead, no? Right? Didn't they switch the babies? Angel says, Willow doesn't need to be raising kids. She cannot think for herself. Yeah, it's true. She's letting a man do all the thinking for her. And it's working swimmingly. She's just lost all of her friends and lost everyone but her mom, who is lying to her, just as Drew is. You know, they still haven't fessed up about their affair that they've had. Mystic Mars, you think that they're setting up a Who Shot Drew storyline? From your lips, man. I don't think that Cameron Matheson's gonna lose his job. Truly, I don't. That'd be such a low blow. I mean, he's already kind of picked himself up after the fires. But I don't know. I don't see them letting him go. But they need to just have him own being the villain. And we need Willow to see that he is the villain. Yes, Nell did convince people that Wiley was dead. Yeah, because she passed him over to Brad. Because Brad's baby died. Angelique said, I don't think that would even matter at this moment. She falls for any excuse Drew gives her. But if she sees enough video proof of it, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it is a frustrating thing for everyone to sort of see what she can't. Because it's I can see why she wouldn't want to listen to Carly. You know what I mean? But if her mom was just honest with her about Drew, well, she would cut ties with her mom too. But I mean, I don't know. She's lost everyone essentially. Drew has isolated her from everyone. And she won't listen to anyone that tries to get in there. So she's very much in the cult of Drew. And I love that Carly pointed that out too. Carly pointed that out in a conversation, I think, with Jason. She's, she went from the cult of Dawn of Day to the Dawn of Drew. And, and it's true, man. It is true. Carly's the enemy. Why would she not want helping her out? She tried. She tried to help her out. She's been trying to make her see Drew for who he is, and she will not listen. Honestly, it's one of those things where I get that, man. I would be done with someone like that too. It's trying to tell someone something that they do not want to hear, whether it's true or not, and in this case it is. They won't listen if they don't want to. If they're that far gone and they see that this person can do no wrong whatsoever, and Carly has tried to explain it to her nicely that Drew is not who she thinks she is, or who she thinks he is, and she's been listen, he's done this, and this. And still nothing. And she tries again and again and again, and she tries again and again and again and again and again, and Willow will not hear it. So I don't blame Carly for wanting to smack the fuck out of her, because I would want to too. I wouldn't blame her. I don't blame her. Girl, there is a neon sign saying that he is a bad man. There is a neon glowing sign in your face and you refuse to see it. Have fun. That is what I would be like. I have explained it to you for a full year. It's I don't know. I get it. Sometimes people can't be helped. She is clearly one of them. She's going to have to learn the hard way. Something bad is going to happen to one of her kids as a result of Drew's actions before she's maybe he is a bad guy after all. Drew would have to somehow put Wiley in the hospital. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's a true thing that some people could not care less about what a bad person is doing to other people. And they won't care until something happens to them. And again, it's just it's a pattern we're seeing in the real world quite often now. I don't know. It's do you want me to feel sorry for you now? We tried to tell you. And even in my own life, I've had to deal with something similar to that recently. Has nothing to do with politics, by the way. Completely different situation. But it's trying to convince someone like, look, like, this is what you, like, not being able to see straight about what, you know, what you're doing. I guess it's slightly different. It's not like a third party. It's a person that is doing things to themselves, and actions that they're taking that they refuse to. He's more like Kristina, actually. Similar situation, but like, you know, he's been told 1,000 times how to fix his life and he just won't listen, and, you know, he about to face some consequences for it. So, but needless to say, I don't know. It's a tough thing to sort of deal with someone who just refuses to listen, refuses to see what's in front of their face. Yeah, let Willow make her own mistakes. Yeah, that's the thing. She's going to have to, you know, she's making her mistakes. And like I said, she'll have to learn on her own. Yeah, Nina wants to control Willow. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I mean, but so does Drew. Drew wants to control Willow as well. Everyone wants to control Willow. But the only thing is, like, Nina, at the very least, like, she doesn't want Willow to be isolated from everyone else. She wants to have a good relationship with her daughter, but she wants Willow to have a decent relationship with her kid's father. She wants Willow to have a relationship with, you know, other people. She wants Willow to have friends and a good life, but instead she's being isolated from everyone that she's ever cared about and everyone that's ever cared about her. And no one wants anything to do with her anymore because of it. It's kind of like, well, there it is. Make your own mistakes. But, like, I don't know. Like, I can't blame Nina or anyone trying to warn Willow, because these are all people that genuinely care about Willow. You know, Carly cared about Willow. Nina cared about Willow. The Quartermains, they cared about Willow. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just pushed her into Drew's orbit even more, which is unfortunate, and that is on them. I can own that. They went about sort of getting her away from Drew kind of wrong. And to that end, there were people that were kind of on the outside being like, hey, if you do this, you're pushing him into her arms. And they would not listen, and here we are. But it's like, you know, everyone was just trying to look out for her and be like, this guy is not who you think he is. He's just showing you someone he knows you want to see. And I don't know. I think you can make the argument that, like, because a lot of people are saying that Drew likes to be seen as the hero, and Drew likes that Willow's seen him as a hero. But I don't know if that's necessarily true. What I do know is true is I think he likes how much him being with Willow pisses off people that he doesn't want to deal with anymore. Like, I think he more so gets off on the fact that him being with Willow pisses off Carly and pisses off Nina and pisses off all of his enemies at this point. It's like, I think he gets off on that more than he actually has feelings for her. Because, yeah, maybe he did, like, fall for her a little bit. But, like, he was sleeping with Nina at the same time he was sleeping with Willow. So, it's not as he painted it out to be. I mean, they've been mean to her because she cheated on Michael. They have the right to be mean to her, but they should have been smart. Like, they shouldn't have, like, you know, roasted her at the stake, so to speak. They had the right to be mad at her for that, though. Oh, you think that he misses Sam, so he jumped to Willow? I don't know about that. Because he was kind of eyeing Willow before Sam died. Although, I guess you can make the argument that he couldn't be with Sam once he got back because Sam was with Dante. So, like, maybe, but I don't know. Okay, Kawan, let me put it this way. Like, if you, I don't know if you're a parent or not, but let's say you had a child who just wanted to jump off a cliff with no safety net. Like, would you not be warning to your child to not do it? Or would you be like, oh, you can make your own decisions. It's fine if you, like, ruin your entire life and die. Like, that's how I see it. Like, I think, it would be a disservice to your friend or your child or whoever is potentially going down a bad path by being like, yeah, do what you want, and just not say anything, like keep their mouths shut. Like, I think that they have every right to, you know, say their warnings, say what's on their mind, and, you know, put it out there. And, you know, if Willow makes that decision, that bad decision, or your friend or whoever, then that's on them. Like, I don't know. I feel like it'd be weird if, like, a parent would be like, yeah, sure, throw your life away. Like, that would mean they're a garbage parent, right? He said, I don't know, I'm not a parent, but I would say if we had a daughter and she had an affair on her husband and the family members of that was always bothering her, threatening the fight. I mean, listen, I would be mad at the family too, don't get me wrong. But I'd be like, the thing is, like, she decided to continue the affair. So it's like, well, then get out of the Quartermain house. If you guys are going to continue your relationship, you know the family doesn't approve of it, get out right now. And they stuck around for obviously different reasons. But, like, I'd be like, well, this is your bed and you're laying in it, but, like, I'd be equally annoyed at my daughter too. Like, you chose to have an affair with this guy. Now you're reaping the consequences of it. Do I love that the Quartermains are treating you like garbage? No, obviously not. But this is the bed you made. This is your consequence for having an affair with a married man. Or having an affair with, you know, a man while you're married. It's like, this is the consequence for your action. Now own it and get out of the house. I feel like the way they wrote her in a corner. Willow's very sexy and low-key sexy that people don't be noticing. I mean, like, listen, Cameron Matheson is sexy in a way that is noticeable. It doesn't mean that, like, people enjoy his character. Like, yes, well, like, the actors that play Willow and Drew are hot. They're hot. But, like, that their characters are still trash regardless. Oh, man. And this is coming from someone that I used to adore Willow. Y'all know. I loved Willow and Chase so much. Hated Willow with Michael. And I've always said, like, any of Michael's partners tend to be brought down. Like, their characters just get less interesting being with them. Truly. Willow was far more interesting with Chase than she was with Michael. And I wouldn't hate even Drew and Willow having an affair if if it wasn't written so horribly to begin with. Like, they didn't need to make him a groomer. You know, they didn't need to make him a pig in order to make this relationship happen. And, like, I think it was, like, the jarring thing about it was that, like, what we seen on screen was that Willow really seen him as a father figure. You know, like, she felt like Drew was her father. And then, like, started having an affair with him after. It's, like, a little incestuous, which is kind of gross. It's, like, that's why I've just never been on board. Like, had it been written differently, like, if Willow, let's see, like, if, so Drew saves Willow's life in Greenland, right? And, you know, she was very grateful. If something started then and there, it would make more sense to me. But they spent, like, a good couple of years, like, establishing that Willow really seen this guy like a father figure. And then the trashy writers that stepped in were like, let's just put them together. Like, it was just trash writing from the start with that. So, I don't know. Listen, Kaiwan, I'm all for other bisexual and gay characters to be on the show, but the only thing that would have accomplished with Michael is for him to suck the fun out of both male and female characters that they put him with. There has never been an interesting Michael pairing to me under Chad Duell. Never. Not once. I didn't like him with Abby. I thought they were boring. Didn't like him with Star. Thought they were boring. Didn't like him with... Who else has he been with? Willow and his current baby mama. I've never liked him with any of his pairings. Not a single one. Hey, Kyrie's. You said, I'm so happy Ava got her money back. Serves Alexis right. She's a terrible enabler. Yeah, like, I'm not mad. Like, listen, I was excited for Ava to have a way to sort of get money out of Alexis. But I'm also, like, annoyed that Kristina's just going to get away with her batshit craziness again as a result. I was kind of hoping that Ava's blackmail has Alexis realizing that she should just take the power away from Ava. She truly he did, Angel. Michael sucks the life out of all the characters they put him with. That's why they be dying too. But yeah, where was it? What was I saying? Oh yeah, like I was hoping that Ava's blackmail would convince Alexis that this isn't worth it. Get Kristina the help she needs so that she stops being crazy. Like, you know, you could have just done that. Taken Diane's advice, and yeah, it would ruin the family dynamic, but like, it's not Alexis's fault. It's all on Kristina. The only reason why Kristina's relationship with her sister is at jeopardy is because she's not dealing with the grief of losing that baby, and she's set her sights on getting revenge on Ava, who didn't even cause the baby's death. She's just kind of, you know, set her sights on Ava because she needs someone to blame, because if she doesn't, she'll have to take responsibility for the fact that the baby is dead. And she can't do that, and everyone knows it's Kristina's fault. Everyone knows that. Molly knew it. Alexis knew it. Sonny probably deep down knows it. He might be on the fence about it because Ava is kind of a trash person. So, like, it's not exactly not believable that she'd push her out. But it was deemed an accident in court. But I also feel like Sonny saw firsthand how badly Ava grieved Kiki's death. You know, he saw her become an alcoholic and saw her struggle to pick herself back up from the choices that she made and the way that she had left her relationship with her daughter. So I feel like because she lost a child and because he knows what it's like to lose a child, that he knows that even Ava wouldn't wish that pain on someone else or do harm to someone that is pregnant with a child. Like, she knows. He knows. Kyrie said, yes, indeed, Kristina is a nut job, and she knows good well Ava didn't push her. I can't stand Kristina. Yeah, Kristina's friend that was killed in a bus accident. Yeah, that bus crash storyline. Yeah. Yeah, he was about to date her and she died too. Abby just died with a crane falling on her off screen. They always called Maxie and Michael the Black Widows of GH. Man. But yeah, Sasha. Now I'm finally remembering her name. Sasha, like, she, Sasha basically almost died after dating Michael. I mean, she had started dating Brando, but it was like right after, right? Yeah, Kristina and Lucky aren't happening, Kaiwan. You need to let that go. Speaking of people and their delusions, it's not going to happen. Lucky already can't stand Kristina. And I think after today's episode, I think Lucky's going to tell Elizabeth the truth about what happened in the accident. Because while he didn't really go into specifics with Laura, he kind of insinuated that there's something that he needs to tell her. And he seems ready to tell her. And I hope he does. Poor Elizabeth is also dealing with, oh yeah, Michael and Sabrina. Sabrina also died. He lost everybody. Their characters are either dying or their personalities do. Because I remember liking Sasha so much more when she was free from Michael. She was a lot more entertaining. She still is a lot more entertaining. I hated that they had a one-night stand and she's stuck back in his orbit again. I think if Michael does come back, unless he's being played by a different actor, I don't want them together. Put Jason and Sasha together, I'm okay with that. Kaiwan, I think you have to let go of what happened before 2012 because she's not the same person she was back then, She has grown as a person. She's had some pretty stable relationships since then. She didn't cheat on any of the ones that happened after that. Like after the whole Drew and Jason thing, lying about his identity, which turns out she wasn't. I don't know. She had solid relationships with Franco, who I hated, by the way, but it was like a pretty solid relationship that they had. And then Finn was pretty solid until he succumbed to his alcoholism, and she was strong enough to cut ties, So I think she's in a place in her life where she's able to, establish a relationship, build one, and I think if Lucky does her wrong, and so far, like, even though he's kind of kept quiet about it, even though he's done her, if he does her worse than like keeping something a secret for a couple of weeks, then I think that she would get out, and I wouldn't beg her for it. If they have Lucky really screw her over, I would be like, okay, dump him. But Lucky, he wants to sort of rebuild his life again in Port Charles. He's trying to have a relationship with his son again. He's trying to make things right with Elizabeth after all the toxicity that they've had in the past. Yes, this Kristina thing puts a crutch in it, but he's he's not exactly in the point of no return with it either. So we'll see what happens. Kyrie said you're interested in the Geo Secret reveal. Yeah, I'm down for it. It might as well happen. That might happen at the Nurses Ball, actually. If there's going to be any kind of drama, I'm down for that to be the drama. Oh, good night, Sandy. But yeah, I think I'm going to end the live stream here because I live streamed way longer than I anticipated I was going to. And I still got some things to do. Oh, man. All pertaining to that festival, that 5-day festival. I filmed 29 bands in 5 days, you guys. It was hell, but it was also a lot of fun. I got to work with my bass player and his wife and a really cool chick named Kara, who was the photographer. And we were all in the trenches together. So it still made it lots of fun. Just a lot of really hard work as well. And the work's not done. So I got to work on a little bit of that tonight. But I will be back on again tomorrow. So don't you worry. I don't really have a game plan for it other than just being like a hangout and talk about probably whatever happens on GH tomorrow. And then Sunday will be the classic recaps again. Because, while I do have some like filming gigs that are going on, nothing as substantial as what this one was. It's just like one band at a show. So it's not going to get in the way of anything. And I don't think I'll tackle a festival, at least for another year. Alright, y'all. But yeah, you guys have a good night. If you like the live stream, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Mwah! Good night.